Hello everybody, this is Peter Korne from WebACA. I'm the owner of the company and we do web development services for pretty much all of the United States. And today we will work on a very interesting element here. The element is called row ID. So let me give you a quick example of what we're trying to achieve. Here's an example website that we're actually working on for a client right now. And he has tabs here. They're actually not linked right now, but they will become links eventually. Let's say somebody clicks on property damage, and we want this tab over here, this icon, to bring a person to property owners page and to property damage subsection over here. So in order for us to be able to do that, we need to give an anchor tag over here, which is usually done by, let me give you an example, by doing something like this. Actually, a ID, then you give it an ID, tag, and name tag. So when we save this, when we upload it to the server, when we specify an address, something like our £sign tag, then that will bring us to that specific section, to this specific tag. It will scroll all the way down to it. But not only through an A tag can you do that. You can actually use, you can actually reference a specific ID. And let's have a look at this section. BC10 this section has an ID of BC10. What is our BC10 ID? Let's have a look. One second, I'll need to display something here. We're going to go back to pages, property owners, and we need to display this section right over here. I've just made some updates to the source code. By the way, the backend of the WordPress administration has been modified to help our client manage his own content himself. And everything is arranged into blocks, as you can see. We're not using visual builders because they do slow down website tremendously. So we are instead custom coding things, and we have specific library that we use to help us with the custom coding of elements. If you're interested to learn how you can become part of that library as well and use codes for your web development business, make sure to email me. Go to webaca.com, click on contact, fill out this form, let me know that you want to become part of our backend developers community. This way you'll get access to these sections here, and you'll be able to integrate the blocks in the same fashion through Advanced Custom Fields module. Oh, Advanced Custom Fields plugin. Well, that's not really part of this specific tutorial here. Let us go back and have a look at the section ID. You can see that how we help does have a section ID of BC10, so we can actually reference it to here. BC10. We don't forget the £sign. Okay, so we are at the top of the page, and once I click enter, you can see how it automatically scrolls down to this section right here. You can include smooth scrolling if you want through JavaScript. That would make it look even nicer. But the essence of this demonstration was to show you that we can We don't need to have an A tag, we can just use an ID tag. And knowing that, we can make use of one more property that Advanced Custom Fields gives us. And the property is this, Get Row Index. So we can actually, we don't have to specify a specific ID that the customer has to declare within the sections. We can dynamically obtain that ID. So how are we going to do that, and where are we going to use it? This is our template right over here, and this template brings out internal pages for property owners and expert services page. We'll need to change the background for this specific page, but that's a different topic. So I want to make sure that each of the sections here has a specific ID that I can reference, and I can link the home page items, these ones and these ones, to the internal pages over here. And to do that, I'm going to navigate over to this repeater section, and I'm going to give an ID to this row. And this is BC10, am I correct? Yes, I presume that it is. So we're going to give an ID. Actually, I'm going to give an ID before we declare the class. It doesn't really matter, but I just like when ID comes first. And you can see that it comes with accordion, but it's not really an accordion, it's BC10 block. So we're going to specify BC10 dash the index. Okay, let's save this. Now let's have a look what's happening here. Let's go to property owners page. Going to refresh that. We are using a template that we built ourselves. Page template is general pages, that's what we called it. And inside our WordPress, we specified the template that it is a general page. And that's how we are able to customize specific pages. Alright, so let's inspect this thing now. We're going to inspect the row element right here, BC10-1. Is displaying this section right over here. So now I can reference to it. # BC10-1. There we go. So what if we want to reference to this one, Tower Panel Restoration Services? Well, it's going to be the second one. There we go. And the third one will be the third one right over here. So it looks like it works really nicely. It creates an ID, and we can link the home page items directly to the specific elements. And I'll show you how easily we can manage the links here. As you can see, we have here the sections, property damage. Property damage is right over here, and it has property owners BC10-3. I think that was, yeah. So that's I do need to copy this down, and then we're going to set a link, and this is going to be, what was that name? Property owners, I think. Yeah, property owners. But you see how we have the URL here? It populates it automatically when I clicked on it, but we need to modify it. We need to modify it by adding the anchor tag designator here. And that's pretty much it. We're going to add a link here. You can see that it did save the anchor tab link. Going to update it. So there's a lot of code in the backend to make the blocks, and each block usually takes about 2 or 3 hours to create. But once the blocks are assembled, we can fairly quickly build a website. So we're going to click on property damage. You can see that others are not links, but the property damage page has become a link. I'm going to click that, and you can see that it scrolled all the way down. No, it doesn't look like this thing is at the very top, because it cannot scroll down further than the footer of the screen. But if we make the screen smaller, I'm going to inspect and make it really small, like this, you'll see that it will actually scroll all the way down to that specific section. Property damage. See, it pulls it up right there. So that's how we can dynamically link things to the pages. TARP and restoration services. I mean, same thing. We are on the home page. TARP and restoration services. Property owners, and this will be, actually we just need to change this to 2. Add link and update. Go back to home. Property damage. What did we just link? TARP and restoration services, yes. TARP and restoration services. There we go. See, it links right to that row ID that we have created. It links right over here because it has an ID attached to it. So that's pretty much the end of our quick tutorial. It shows you how we can utilize advanced custom fields, get row ID, index function, and it allows us to create links, anchor links without an A tag from different pages to different sections on other pages. Hopefully it was useful for you. If you are interested in our small library that I talked about, it's called ACF Boot. It is a restricted service. Well, it's not really a service, it's a restricted library, and we have blocks of different elements here that you can use to build your own website. It's very useful for those of you who are using advanced custom fields for your website builds, and for those of you who are building WordPress websites yourself. And it comes with a JSON file. Not all of them come with JSON file. For example, this one doesn't. It just has HTML and CSS. But a lot of our most recent blocks, they come with JSON files. So you can just quickly import the advanced custom fields setup right into your website, and you can copy HTML, copy CSS, and you can have a block like this in no time for your website. Of course, some customization will be required. So this library is $5 a month. Minimum term is 1 year, and it's not really a library that you get here and you expect it to look professional and finished. This is work in project, and the way that we keep it going, if you have developed a block, you can submit it to us, and if the block is accepted, you get 1 month of free service. You don't have to pay that $5 a month, so you get a credit for it. And really, it's really a small group of web developers at this time. We're working together to build out different blocks and help each other really with programming. This way, we all come together. And by the time that you're going to be looking at this video, the library will probably change quite a bit, and we'll probably have different buttons here, and the price will probably be much higher. So that was the end of it. If you're interested to participate in the library, again, the way to get in touch with me is through the contact button over here on my website, webbaker.com. Just enter your information here, message that you want to take part in the library, and I'll reach out to you. We'll talk about it. Thanks. You have a good day, and happy coding.